Hi, we're both in uniform today. Hi, everybody. This is the Hallie Quinn Show. As you know, we talk about all things self-love, anything with healing, growth. And today the topic is surrendering with hard feelings. So we both experience hard feelings that a lot of us experience or we're afraid to experience. So with that said, what came up for you was anger. Anger is a hard feeling, guys. How do you navigate through anger? And with me, mine was sadness. Woo! Sadness for the past week. So to start this, I'm going to let Hallie kind of share her experience and how surrendering is a big part of navigating through these hard emotions. So what's coming up for you, my dear?
Well, I think that the biggest thing that came up with for me around anger is that I have been really repressed about anger in my life. Both because, because it feels scary to me. And other people's anger feels scary to me. And being a good spiritual person, I shouldn't experience anger. And, you have
to be soft and kind and gentle all the time.
And gentle all the time. And, lead with compassion and give everyone the benefit of the doubt and make sure that everyone feels loved by you. So anyways, I've been allowing myself to also feel the ways in which me not having a relationship to my anger creates a lack of boundaries in certain areas of my life, which creates dynamics that make me feel disempowered or used or taken advantage of. And so this is something that I realize I get to change within myself. And it's not anyone else's. It's not about finding people who aren't going to trigger that in me. It's about having a relationship to what I know that I need to feel safe and advocating for that for myself. And if people aren't able to offer me that, then I have to be willing to let go. So anger, like we were saying just now when we were eating, is anger is a movement. It moves things, where sadness creates a lot of stuckness.
Yes.
And so I've had a very deep relationship to sadness on my journey. It's been my primary hard emotion. And I'm just seriously now at age 33 waking up to anger. And I'm like, oh, where have you been all my life? No wonder I've been in repeat patterns, because this hasn't fired up yet. So obviously now's the time that I can handle it responsibly and consciously.
Yes.
Yeah. And so what I want to say about that is that emotion felt consciously, meaning you are aware that you are feeling and experiencing a big emotion versus just being taken over by it, is the path to healing and freedom. And so it's to me, it's more beneficial to feel all of our feelings with consciousness than to be in a certain feeling state, positivity or happiness all the time, and then shoving down these harder, more uncomfortable feelings.
Because then that's avoidant. That's avoiding. Yeah, and I totally get that. I've heard some people say things like, you can't just be positive all the time, and there's truth to that, because we are humans and we do have feelings. However, you will appear more positive when you start really taking care of your emotions.
Yeah.
You're creating more space for the love to come in, like you were saying before, because you're processing through and shedding away the emotions that are not serving you, and then it clears up, and then now you have the space for the love to come in. That's creating love within yourself, you guys.
It's so true.
Yeah.
The emotions need to move. They need to move.
Yes.
And
Yeah, they
there
get
are
to
just
move.
like certain emotions that have more of a movement energy. And one is anger.
Yeah.
And then the other one that we were talking about, this surrender idea, right?
Yeah,
And that's just the like letting go and allowing versus the trying to control, you know? When we're trying to control, like there's restriction and constricted movement. But when we're like, all right, move through me,
Yes.
you know, there's, that space gets created.
Yeah. And I know when we say let it flow, let it, like, you know, it sounds great. It's like a healthy way to do it, you know, like letting it come up, letting it flow. But, you know, this is where the healthy outlets come into play. You were saying that you end up writing. For me, I might go work out, or I will write as well, or make a video like this, go online like this, or record a video to myself like this. So find tools that will help you to allowing to let it flow.
Yeah.
And when you do that, that's you trusting the process, because it's probably something that you don't normally do. You normally maybe like take out your anger on somebody else, or you go rant and you go, you know, you already know that the things that you end up not being so proud of, and the things that are not making it any better. So yeah, finding healthy outlets to help you navigate through the hard emotions.
There's also something, you said something about trusting the process.
Yes.
There's also something about trusting yourself. Like when you choose an outlet, you have to like check in with yourself. You have to figure out what you need. And so much of being a free person, like an emotionally healthy and free person, is having self-trust. Like trusting that like you can take care of yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So being with your emotions consciously and choosing outlets that are going to facilitate their passage is like building trust with yourself.
Oh, I love what you just said right there. It is literally building the passage to you, trusting yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a practice. It's going to be a practice. And the more that you start trusting yourself and feeling that you can trust this process, you know what you start feeling more empowered, more in control in a healthy way. And you actually start feeling confident that you can handle these things that are no longer something that you're avoiding.
Yeah.
For me, the process is the destination. Yeah, like that's where we need to go. How can I process this? How can I process this? Here's how I'm feeling. How am I going to process it somewhere where I can feel better about it versus being tied down about it? So for myself, I released some sadness that came up really strongly for me this past week. How would I say it? You know, I'm practicing healthy boundaries, and if I don't feel good or safe in a circle of individuals, I will remove myself. And maybe the individuals, they do want to include me, you know, they do want to support me along this journey, but they're going to do their best. And I have to just be really aware and just trust that I need to do what's best for me. And so when I remove myself from a gathering of individuals today, like sadness came up because it was a reality of, you know, it's going to take some time to really get through this stage in my life right now to heal with some individuals that mean a lot to me. And there's probably family members or friendships that you have in your life right now where a lot has happened and you wanted to get to this place where it's like peace and closeness and stuff like that. And knowing that it's going to be hard and that's not happening right now. And so I allowed myself to sit with those feelings and let it out. And I actually ended up making a video. So that's how I navigated through that. So you can see it's not just sitting there and feeling it, but you get to move these emotions through a healthy outlet as well. Yeah. And yeah.
And now more love can get in.
Yes, more love came in, you guys, and I felt so much better after I released it. I mean, yeah, I had those tears. I had that cry, you know, that kind of cry that you do when you're by yourself. Like, I really let it come through. And when you're conscious about what's happening with your feelings and your emotions, it's actually really beautiful. You guys, tears were coming down my face, and I was just like, Yeah. I was just so aware that this was happening and it needed to
Yes.
happen. I've gotten so used to allowing myself and giving myself the permission to cry.
Yeah.
So it's a practice, you guys. And once you give yourself that permission, it feels really good. Really, really, really good. Because I know sometimes society or maybe our experiences from other people has shunned us from feeling that way. Like shunned us. You can't feel anger. You can't feel sadness. Why are you crying? All this stuff. But when you give yourself the permission to in a safe space, it's very healing. It is very healing.
You're making me think of this idea that it's like popping into my head. It's like it's like I've never thought about this before, but I'm thinking about it right now.
Yes, share it with us,
I'm gonna
my
share
dear.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thought is that what we're afraid of in our emotions is that we're gonna lose control, right? Because emotions are very powerful and they take over, and there's a big fear of losing control in your emotions. But as soon as you become aware that you are experiencing a big emotion and you like presence yourself with yourself while you're experiencing that emotion, it really is like one of the most beautiful experiences, you know, because you're like, you get to feel your aliveness, you get to feel like you're healing in action, and you get to feel like, you know, you just get to feel your humanness. It's like, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then you really can feel in control while you're experiencing all of this big, hard depth feeling, you know? So you don't really lose control when you're feeling with awareness.
Yes, feeling with awareness. And that's the very first step, right? Like awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness. So we know it's tough, you guys. We're here for you guys. We host a workshop every single month for the Sacramento community. Tickets are now available. I left the link up above there. And then we both do one-on-one coaching too. So Hallie's here. I'm here. Reach out to us. We know it's freaking hard. So that's why there are coaches out there who are willing to support you through this process. Because we know it's a scary one, and it's helpful to know that someone has gone through it so they can be there with you and feel it with you.
Yeah.
Right? All right, guys. That's our talk for today. Thank you for joining us. We're here every Tuesday, so we'll see you next week.
We have a workshop on March
17th, St. Patty's Day in the evening here at the Urban Hive. So that's where it is.
The theme is healthy attachments.
Healthy attachments. Okay. That already says a lot. Healthy attachments. That's it. All right, guys. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.